I'm Jessica Miano.
I'm Adam Child.
This is Donington Park.
And this is Beyond the Blade.
The fast life, the fast living. They see the ambition, they know I'm past driven. Look, we are not the same, this is not a game. I was walking through the city in and out of lanes. Yeah, cause if I see it, then I want it, then you better know I got it. And you're watching, so I'm about to do the damn thing. I'm an outlaw, you can never catch me. I'm in first place, you can never.
To be in with a chance of joining Honda at hospitality at Brands Hatch, all you got to do is like and share this video.
We're at the Milenco by Padgett's Honda Racing team. This is the Superstock winning team from last year.
So Chad, I'm new to the sport. Can you explain the difference between this bike and the road-going Fireblade?
So the road-going Fireblade, fortunately, I got to ride here at Donington Park last year. So Honda made a few tweaks for it for this year, changed the gearing, changed the torque slightly, and we had an awesome day here. And it's impressive that the bike that you can buy from the showroom and you can ride here was so capable on track. So it's over 200 horsepower and full of electrical rider aids to cater for all types of riding. So you've got electronic suspension that copes on track and copes on a bumpy road. You've got cornering ABS, you've got lean sensitive traction control, you've got multiple rider aids. It is a phenomenal track weapon that you can also ride on the way home.
So that one's the bike that I can go to a Honda dealership and buy?
That is a bike that you can buy from the showroom. And then what we do is we move from the Honda road bike to the Superstock bike.
I see. So this is just an upgraded version of the one that you can buy from the dealership?
This is not a million miles away from the bike that you can go into a showroom and buy. And this bike won the championship last year with Davey Todd with Padgett. And essentially what they do is they take the road going stuff away, because you don't need mirrors, you don't need lights, you don't need road bodywork, you don't need pillion seat, you don't need pillion pegs. So all the things that makes the bike legal, you remove, and then you tweak it for it to perform on the track within the rules of Superstock. So we have the same forks, but we can change the fork internals. We have the same brakes, but we can change the brake pads.
Okay.
Instead of having road tyres, we can use race tyres.
I see.
So we're basically taking a road bike, turning it into a Superstock bike within some very tight configurated rules.
Okay, well it'll be interesting to see how this bike compares to the Superbike.
There's a big jump.
Shall we go have a look?
Certainly.
So now we're in the Superbike garage. We've had a look at the road bike, we've looked at the Superstock,
Yep.
and now this is a Superbike. What's the difference?
This is the ultimate Fireblade. This bike is just designed to go around a racetrack. The only similarities with the road bike is the frame, which is this black section.
Yeah.
We can't remove anything from the frame. We can add a few brackets, but everything else is completely different. So if we use the analogy of cake, in a Superstock you have 4 ingredients to make the best cake you can. Here we can use as many ingredients as we can to make the perfect cake, to make the perfect bike for Irwin to go fast.
So swinging arm, forks, you can change.
Everything, gearbox, more power, more braking, better suspension.
Okay, so one of the YouTube viewers asked a question, what is the difference between the Superbike this year as opposed to last year's?
So the main bike is pretty similar. It's more an evolved bike. So we're just tweaking the bike to make it better for this year, learning what we did last year.
Okay.
And again, the rider's changed, so it's changing a few little details. It's all making little increments now. It's not a big step.
Yeah.
But if I told you all the secrets, half would kill me.
Okay, so there's quite a lot to unpack there, but what does it boil down to in terms of lap time?
So in terms of lap times, we performed a small experiment last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to remember, we put all the bikes on the same tyres, because a road bike has road tyres. But if all the bikes are on slicks with the same rider, you're looking around 2.5 to 3 seconds difference between the road bike and the Superbike. So making all those changes and spending all this money is 2.5 to 3 seconds. So a very good rider on the same tyres on a road going bike wouldn't be too far off the back of the grid of a Superbike. That's how good the road bike is. But this is the ultimate Superbike. But now we've done the ultimate Superbike, let's go a bit further down the grid and look at the RG Cup bikes.
Let's go.
We're here at Donington Park, British Superbikes, and away from the headlines of the Fireblade and the Superstock and the Superbikes, we'll come down here to see Charlie with the R&G British Talent Cup. Charlie, you're having a good season so far. I just want you to tell me a little bit more about this great little bike.
Yeah, so it's a 4-stroke, fuel injected, 4-valve, and it's got 45 brake horsepower.
And every bike is the same, every bike is 45?
Yeah, every bike. So if your bike's suspected to be faster, they'll put it on the dyno, and if it's over 45 brake horsepower, then they'll get the engine stripped.
Wow. What else can you change? So if the power is limited to 45, so you can change gearing?
Yeah, you can change the gearing, but not the actual transmission at all. You're allowed to change the brakes, so a Brembo master cylinder and disc, wheels to a lighter Oz wheel, steering damper, rear shock, and fork internals.
And you're running either Dunlop slicks and Dunlop wets?
Yeah, so in this series we have to run a Dunlop medium compound or the Dunlop wets.
Cool. So when you're going out and qualifying, what can you and your team change? You can change geometry, or is it just literally changing fork springs, compression and rebound?
Yeah, so we can only change the compression and rebound on these bikes, and then we just change the tyres.
Front and rear?
Yeah, front and rear.
And obviously you can change sprockets as well?
Yeah, sprockets to suit different tracks.
Cool. Do you also give feedback as well, I assume, because here it's quite important to get in the group and get in the slipstream?
Yeah, so this round, as they've changed the tarmac, we had a base setting from last season and we've had to adjust it a little bit. Now it's a lot smoother, so I'll give feedback on what suspension's doing, what the gearing's like, and just change various little things on the bike.
The grip's gone up, or is the grip stayed about the same?
I think the grip stayed about the same, but the track's a lot smoother, so that's where the lap times are coming.
Oh, cool. Cool. Well, good luck in the race. Thanks
you.
for your time, mate.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
A man that knows the transition between Superstock to Superbike really well is Davey Todd, last year's Superstock champion. How are you finding life adjusting to the Superbike?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. We knew it was going to be a bit of a challenge, to be honest, stepping up to the big boy class. I loved my season in Superstock last year and got on really well, and it's not as big a transition as people think. People talk about the power difference and stuff like that. It really isn't that, because Superstock bikes are that fast these days that there's such a small difference between Superstock and Superbike. The difficult part is adjusting to the electronics. The Mortec systems in Superbike have been the biggest challenge for us, finding the setup and also having more grip. It sounds all good and well moving on to slick tyres and the softer compound tyres, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows, shall we say. In the Superstock class, they come out of the showroom in such good shape, straight off. So honestly, you can pull one out of the showroom with wig mirrors and a number plate on and go race it. Pretty much these days, they're that good. You can't change enough on the bike to overcomplicate things. All the kit electronics is preset. You can't modify or change a whole lot. Everything's in a good area. So that's simple enough to hit the ground running in Superstock and get going and be competitive. Then it's more down to the rider to go from there. So the difficult stage is moving up to Superbike and having a bunch of things that you can adapt and change, and then you can get also lost in the same sense. But also, people look at the guy in 20th in Superbike and go, oh, he's slow, he's still so fast.
It's literally fractions of a second, isn't it?
Everybody's so close and everybody in the class is so fast. But to be at the front, you need to find that perfect spot with the bike, the perfect setup to be competitive. Otherwise, it's not going to happen.
Right, thanks Davey for your time, really appreciate having you on.
Thanks very much.
Let's have a quick roundup of Alton Park round 2. In race 1, Andrew started 7th, ended up finishing 6th. Really, really tight race for that one. Tom, amazing. Qualified 21st, but battled his way all the way through to 14th to get some points at Alton Park in race 1. Race 2, Andrew started off 4th. Really great battle with Haslam. It was brilliant to watch, and it looked like we were going to have our first podium of the year, but Haslam just nipped him to the line, which meant Andrew finished in 4th position. In race 2, Tom was on fire again. 18th on the grid, progressed all his way to 12th to get some more valuable points. Race 3, Andrew was really strong again, up to 4th position, but in race 3 he was suffering a little bit with arm pump, so it just meant he was only braking with one finger and he faded back slightly and ended up finishing 9th. Tom again moved from 15th on the grid to 14th, was battling for 14th and 13th, but unfortunately crashed out. So that's round 2, Alton Park covered, but let's catch up with the guys at the end of Donington Park, round 3. If we can take positives away from the weekend, mate, it's the fastest you've ever been round here. 1 lap pace is really good.
Honestly, this weekend is so frustrating. I think it's more frustrating because of the speed that we had from FP1 on Friday. I always have a good feeling at this track, and you had a really good feeling, to be honest. You know, it's really disappointing the 3 DNFs to come away without any points, and drive was strong. That's the bit that hurts, I think. You know, it's not as if it was a weak track for us. It was a track that we should have been capitalising on. I look forward to moving on at Knockhill, making amends, and try to come back stronger.
Perfect, perfect. And how does it feel going to Knockhill? I mean, is that a track that suits you? I mean, it's very different, obviously, to Donington.
Knockhill's a track I've always enjoyed. It's kind of our local track, closest to Northern Ireland really, in it. And yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm in a good place with my riding. I just need to cut out the mistakes, silly mistakes. And if I cut that out, there's no reason why we can't be where we want to be. For sure, the bike is more than capable. You know, the Fireblade's a fantastic bike in the minute. The pace is always there. It's just cutting out all that other nonsense that I'm doing, and just, I need to work myself a little bit. The bike's fantastic. It's all me that needs to make that change, and try and man enough, big enough and old enough now to know that I need to accept that, and only I can change.
Cool, good luck at your local track.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. 'Cause I'll be on the way. Yeah. You know I'll be on the way.
Mate, it's almost like two halves. Sometimes it's been frustrating, and then sometimes it's just been awesome because you've had such a great result in that second race.
Yeah, it's definitely been a weekend of two halves, like you say. I've been down in the dumps to my best result of BSB, eighth place. Fastest lap I've ever done around this track, so there's many positives to take, but yeah, it's just take the rough with the smooth, don't you?
The qualifying was, you know, lower than expected, but then the progress you've made from that qualifying, and then you're battling with the guys in 8th and 7th, and your times are that good enough for that leading group. You're just on the cusp of that group.
Yeah, it's the same old story really. We're not too good at one-off laps, but when we get into a race, I'm always a bit of a Sunday man. When I've got that carrot in front of me, that next rider in front, it's always makes my life easier. I can always find that little bit to brake a bit later, pick the throttle up a bit earlier, and I always race better and find a way through, but I make it so hard work for myself because qualify so poorly. Race one is always making up time and then getting a better grid for the next race, and then the next race is a bit better, but this weekend obviously unfortunately we had the technical in race one, so didn't really get a lap time on the board, starting P20 for race two. It's all good, and we're only 3 rounds into the championship. If I stop on the bike or we don't have the issues that we've had, every race I've finished this year has been in the points. So we've just got to keep the momentum going. I can take a lot of confidence from the fact that I've had a top 10 now.
Yeah,
and
comfortable top 10.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just keep working away. It'll come.
Sweet, mate. I enjoyed watching it.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
That's the end of episode 2, round 3 at Donington Park.
The next time you join us, we'll be at the Isle of Man with John McGuinness.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.